A word for our listeners. Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1920s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It is not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Join us each week as our investigators follow a path of clues and attempt to save the world from an ancient evil. Starring John Quiett, Jestin Kimmet, Shirley Nedzwicki, George Chimples, Jason Hall, and Scott Troiano, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Side quest. I'm Matt. I'm here with George.
Hello.
Jason.
Hello.
Scott.
Yeah, boy.
John.
Hi.
And Justin.
Howdy.
And John is actually going to run us through this side quest, so I'm going to let him set that up while I eat pizza rolls.
All right. Well, as the players at the table know, this scenario starts out with the PCs belonging to a crew of a cargo ship en route to a new colony, or a relatively new colony that was established 5 years ago. In your cargo bay, you have 100 cryogenically frozen colonists who are going to bolster the ranks of the current workforce. You are going, and then you also have various equipment that was requested and planned for at this juncture. We'll get in. I'll give you a chance to ask questions about what you're getting into here in a minute. First off, we'll start by talking about the ship. Matt is playing the captain.
Yay.
Captain
Ethan Baker.
Ethan Baker.
Ethan, huh?
You are captaining what ship?
The Graceful Tiger.
The Graceful Tiger, okay. Captain Ethan Baker of the Graceful Tiger. Let's get a general idea of what the ship looks like, just out of curiosity. It's in my mind, I was picturing something along the lines of Firefly, where you have a front piloting section, if you will, the command deck. Shortly behind that would be the crew quarters. You have 10 spots. There's only a crew of 9, if I've done my math right. 9. Consisting of the captain, the first officer. Did you pick a name yet, Scott?
I did.
First officer Scott. Explain.
Commander Heinrich Schultz.
Heinrich Schultz. The second officer was not chosen, right?
I guess not.
Yeah, second officer was not chosen. Then the medical officer, played by Jestin.
Yep. Dr. Eric Henderson.
Okay.
You're our doctor?
Yes.
We're doomed.
Senior pilot, played by George.
I am Jan Lagash.
Jan Lagash.
Jan Lagash.
Now,
The worst
never
of all.
mind. I was going to say, that's not French. That's not like Lagash.
No, it's Eastern European.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's see. Next down the line.
That was a joke that our premium listeners can get by listening to the content before the game started. Go ahead. Sorry.
Is Jason with the chief engineer.
Oh, no.
No, nothing like that name. Just Marcus Smith.
Marcus Smith.
Easily remembered.
Okay.
In addition, there are
Hans Oberfeld.
There are 2 junior pilots who serve under everyone but the chief engineer, but specifically under the command of George and the command crew, captain, first officer, second officer. There is a nurse and a cook on board as well. So again, command deck, crew quarters, kind of just all right next to each other, but relatively cordoned off so that you don't hear each other breathing and talking and doing whatever it is you do on long flights between planets in the void of space. Are all of you playing male characters?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Please say yes, Jess.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Having seen Hunt for Red October, can I kill the cook?
Technically, yes. It's entirely your option at this point in time.
So, and I had asked the question that what was the composition of the ship, or as opposed to the Firefly type thing, was it sort of like the black hole where it's like 1.5 miles or 2 miles long and it's...
Well,
cargo pods and all that.
Right.
Not exactly made of money, so this is kind of like an older, kind of bulky, not so pretty looking model.
Does it enter the atmosphere to deliver?
Yeah, I would have to.
Yeah, but yet it's named the Graceful Tiger. No, but I was thinking it's like 14 miles of scaffolding with 2 pods on each end, and then
And also, I assume there's like some sort of like hyperspace type thing is how we get from star to star.
You have relativistic drives is what I'm going with.
Okay.
Not quite light speed.
Fractional C.
Yeah, so you do approach light speed, and you have that whole time dilation thing.
okay.
Space, living on a spaceship is a lifestyle choice that you make at some point, because leaving a planet and coming back to it, you're going to experience a difference in time. Whereas you may have been gone 4 or 5 months, but
Speaker for the Dead.
Yes, Speaker for the Dead, Orson Scott Card. Disagree with the man, but I like the concepts of the sci-fi. So
Immediately picks up on what you're trying to say.
yeah,
Well, some of us are still a little...
right. So anyway,
Literary Luddite.
yes. So you will leave the planet and be gone, and you might leave Earth and be gone for 4 or 5 months. But by the time you return, an equal number of years may have passed, depending on what exactly you were doing. Okay. So when you get on a ship and leave, you're on the ship. You may be put in cryogenic stasis and flown to your destination, in which case no time will pass for you. But communicating back to Earth, by the time you get there, nobody's going to be alive.
Okay.
Basically, it's you might be 45 years and personally experienced space-time, but since the time of your birth in real space, 145 years might have gone by.
Yes, that's entirely possible. It's all, I leave that up to you guys, but basically the engine technology has hit its, current limits.
So this is not in 2084. They came and gave us hyperdrive. This is not the start of the Galaxy Rangers. This is okay.
This is rough and tumble kind of stuff. And space is huge. You travel between stars. You don't travel between. You're not in a solar system like Firefly is in one solar system and all the moons. You guys are traveling great distances.
But it is possible to get between stars in, say, a year or two
yes.
rather than...
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, the math on that may not work, but we're just going to...
Sure.
Fiction. Suspend this.
In this version of Star Trek, this is how physics works.
Exactly.
Well, and because the Creature's going to be on the ship with us, it's not going to really matter about light speed. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't step on your plot. Go ahead.
The plot is wide open. I'll just,
Oh, great. So
anyway, I'll let the listeners know that each of the characters has a. I'll use the word dark secret. Some of them are darker than others. There is a.
No, my dark secret.
You don't remember it anymore?
Well, no, I remember what I read, but it wasn't really a dark secret.
Well,
more of a quirk.
It's a quirk, a plot element.
Okay, I'm secretly a serial killer.
No.
Stabby.
How'd you know my secret?
No, I secretly sabotage cryopods between... Oh, no? Nothing like that. Well, now we have 4 players.
So,
now we have 3.
There used to be 10 crew.
There's 10 spots, and only 9 are filled. So you have the command deck. I got sidetracked. I apologize.
That's okay.
Command deck, the crew quarters, a common living area where the cook would prepare meals and recreation is taken. And then I'm imagining the cargo area. This one would be rather large because you have 100 cryopods plus equipment that the colony needs to help.
Sea chip, that's right.
Yeah, the planet you're going to is mineral rich, so they're going to dig it up.
They're pioneering,
manufacturing it, and
shipping it
building their own things.
I'm sorry.
No.
Is this like this? You said it was established 5 years ago.
Yes.
We won't go into the whole 5 years ago, our time or their time. But
right.
Is this the second group to go, or is this like the 10th group to go? Oh, because this is
second group to go. Yes.
So these are the reinforcements.
Exactly. You expect to find
We're gonna
accidents.
They're going to treat it just says Roanoke on
We have international listeners who might not. Go ahead.
Wikipedia.
I think
Google it!
It's Croatoan, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not Roanoke.
Croatoan.
The Roanoke colony.
Yeah. See.
It was close enough.
Crow.
But it's a fictional world, so...
Yeah, yes.
They don't remember it's Croatoan. Also, sorry, another question
No,
about this world. 'cause it's like,
John's just like,
Stepping on
ooh,
my
let me
plot.
write
I'm
that
just
down.
trying
Hold
No,
on. Let me write. If
another
you guys are
question
going
is-
to keep being...
Then I'm
in
just
this age
not
of
gonna write this at
space
all.
exploration, does Earth exist?
Yes.
And we're aware of that. And then,
Yeah.
has there been any intelligent alien life?
No.
What about alien life, period, on worlds that have been colonized, like dumb life?
Animal and plants, yes.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have
all
you,
the
as
life
the
on Earth.
GM of this game, watched the movie Aliens anytime in the last 6 months?
No.
Good
Okay.
for you. Have you watched the movie Riddick? Pitch Black? Any time? Okay, good. Then we're not.
One of the cryo guys was a prisoner, and he's not asleep. No. What is the government? The Federation or whatever. I mean, obviously not Federation, but what is the government called? Is it just the good old U.S. of world at this point? What is it?
Because the United States does win. In this setting, right?
Because
Is it
screw
lay
everybody
government?
else.
Because
'Cause I can't
France
imagine
really
it-
comes out on top?
No, but I can't imagine a world where that wouldn't happen, right?
Oh, we apologize to our international
No, we
listeners.
don't. No, we don't.
You're really
Deal
just a
with
bunch
it.
of cheesy to surrender
Deal
money.
with
Oh,
it.
Actually, according to our stats, Sweden's going to win.
since we can't
Hey,
curse at this point, there's
As
been a
an
new
atheist,
rule
I'm on
made for
board
these
with Sweden,
podcasts. We're just going to be vigilantly nasty to all of our international listeners. U.S. is going to win. Get over it.
America.
Cope.
I don't see what's nasty about that.
Oh well,
Well, to
We got
to
jeans and McDonald's, man.
nice.
To answer your question and do a little inside baseball here, George, I wasn't planning on running this for another 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes.
So
So you can put
in
that
my
in there.
notes, I have the Interstellar Authority.
Yeah.
I believe I lifted that from somewhere unintentionally.
I
It
know
was
I've
just
heard
a-
the authority.
Yeah, it was
somewhere.
just a stand-in name that I was
It's a
intending
comic
to
book.
flesh out later. So you guys would refer to
remember.
it as the Authority,
Sure.
It's literally a blank spot.
the IA, Interstellar Authority, whatever you want to call it.
That's the overarching government, and then,
Yeah.
but we're on the fringes, or we're going to the fringes right now.
You are
you.
literally on your
There's
way
the
to
table,
the
like,
fringe.
okay.
To the farthest, you said there's
Yeah.
the farthest colony way?
Yes, this is the farthest colony from what you would consider the central core.
The center of the universe.
Well, how do
Yeah.
people feel about the organization, or whatever you call it, the federation,
The authority.
The authority. How do people feel about the authority?
Well, I leave that up to individuals to decide.
I mean, like, is there like
Well, there's a bit of a
discontent in the
break.
masses, or
Well, there's a bit of a break. I mean, every planet is going to have its own relationship with them. A planet that is rich in resources that the authority wants them to get at is going to have a better relationship. The interstellar travelers, you guys are basically free merchants. There's no one else to ally yourselves with. There's no other power other than the captain, and you guys need to make money and refuel.
Okay, so what is the nature of our general runs, Captain? Are we heavily and staunchly allied with the authority, or are we black marketeers? Are we smugglers, gun runners?
You would know from me.
Human
You
trafficking.
know about me that I used to be military, probably some sort of
Good for you,
space
Captain.
navy. I don't know, whatever they call them.
Min-
Probably-
Minihorn.
Probably was in long enough to learn how to do spacey things. That's right.
Back histories, but I meant.
I question whether I should follow this captain any further. So, come on, guys, we're going to do spacey things out in space.
I was probably
That's spacey things.
I was probably a very junior officer. Learned how to do some command, enough about the operations of a ship to feel like I could step out on my own, and was hired as a
Yes.
merchant shortly after, and then bought my own. The reason I bought my own ship is because I was tired for working for other people with no. Sure.
May I ask a
Yeah,
question?
go ahead.
To directly confront George's point, if you're using terms like spacey things as a command, where did you get the cash to buy your own ship?
Would you like me to finish?
Sure, go ahead.
space lottery?
Space what?
Space lottery.
Space lottery. Go ahead.
He went to New
We're all
Vegas.
gonna totally die.
Went to Space Vegas. Is that what it was? Go ahead.
Space Reno. I don't go that classy.
So we're all clear. You.
Oh wow!
Oh, make sure,
I remember
bro.
this button called Open Airlock.
I haven't repaired that yet.
After spending time as a merchant on a merchant ship, I saved up all of my money, literally all of my money, and then took a hefty loan to buy my own ship.
Are you still under the thumb of that loan?
No, I've recently probably paid it off.
Okay. So you're free and
And by
clear.
recently, I mean in the last 6 months or 17 years, depending on where we're at.
Right.
Relative to
So
space.
is this our first run in the black where we're free and
No,
clear?
this is probably third, fifth. We'll say fifth run in,
'Cause I was gonna
in the
say-
black.
First, and then it'll be like, yes, this is our first. This is going to be a good thing. Here comes Cthulhu.
So yeah, so I don't fight the man, but I really would rather just be out here in the black doing runs and not have to worry about politics and all that stuff.
I have a question about space rules.
Okay.
Can I put money in the bank before we go off on a mission?
Yes.
Direct interest.
Yes.
Okay, let me throw a hypothetical out there, though. Depending on the effects of time dilation, and I'm not, since we're in a compressed universe where it doesn't take as long to travel, say you put it in the bank and you're looking for compound interest. You don't know if the culture, the money, the Earth, the government of the planet exists by the time you get
Right.
back.
That
Depending
bank
on
went
what
under.
to do.
Oh,
You
sorry.
probably spend all your time in space now.
Yeah.
I mean, the money on a planet wouldn't be worth to you because it would only be worth. You could only spend it then, and then by the time you get back, it's 200 years later, and that government doesn't exist. The ruble is turned into the mega space ruble,
the space dollar.
ones.
Spacey stuff.
Sorry.
Well, because probably what the IA would do is keep your money in whatever account you have as a space merchant and give you an adjusted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
okay,
probably have
we'll-
altered citizenship.
We'll
we're
kick
citizens
you
of
an
space.
extra 5% on top of whatever you're going to do, but we're not going to give you compound interest for 400 years and go, here's $1 billion.
I also figure that compound interest is great until you figure in inflation.
True.
Because 2 decades ago I could buy a gallon of milk for less than $1. Now it's 3 times that. So what does that really mean? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Now the
It's
planets,
no
do they
get
become
rich
more
quicks.
lawless the further they are away from the authority because it takes time for the message to get there, or is it?
It depends on what they have. That's how what they have to produce is directly proportional to the presence of the authority.
And if you think this is the lawless frontier, the further you get from the here's Johnny Law, the closer you get to you did what to my daughter? I got a shotgun. There are consequences immediately for your actions.
That's more what I was worried about was instant consequences versus judicial systems.
Well, okay. So the planet you are going to does have a military outpost and a few ships at their disposal.
Okay.
But the greater military fleet is not in orbit.
So they don't have anything like slightly unobtainium that they need to mine. That,
Slightly unobtainium.
which is not like that one movie.
Well, this is where they mine the space rubles.
Right.
This planet has resources that eventually will get up. It'll get up to speed, and the authority will come and collect.
But this is not the super rare element where there's going to be every military force within 100 billion light space years. Sorry, I'm using your terms. I got to get into the space mind. There,
Spacey.
right? Yeah,
Spacey.
Spacey years.
Yeah, no, nothing.
So Gary had finished House of Cards season 2.
Wasn't it
Oh
amazing?
my God.
Go ahead.
So
We're making art here. We'll talk about season 2 of House of Cards later. Tune in to the next
and then,
episode.
so cargo space, and then engines behind that. Does anybody have an opinion? Engineer?
Yeah, that sounds all great.
Okay,
Does
so
their
just a
ship have
big
weaponry?
long.
It would be separated from everything else, probably. Just
So
for
like you
safety.
could just drop it and
Yeah.
float.
So,
in
the essential eject the pod
Yeah.
sort of
Eject
situation.
the reactor.
We have multiple pilots. Do we have like little personal piloted ships
Like little
inside our
scout
giant
ships?
There are
Shuttles.
you'll have a couple shuttles that you can use to get around on short drives. The like in Star Wars, the TIE fighter. It's not supposed to be this far out. Blah blah blah. You've got a shuttle like that. Again,
So a spider
Firefly.
rock will make them explode.
Yes. Totally. But these are capable of entering and exiting atmosphere and flying around. in atmosphere should you need to.
Just so we're clear, our exhaust boards have covers.
Thank you. Somebody get a
And
piece of
not be
cardboard.
directly into-
Maybe put a
they
piece of
kind
plywood
turn
over
an
that.
angle and-
No, they have bends.
There you
Yeah,
go.
thank you.
And does the ship and or the shuttles have weaponry?
There is one gun mounted on the ship.
Oh, there is.
You asked for it. I told you.
Oh, I
about
would have
it.
probably mounted a couple of guns on the ship. Just to, they're space pirates
For show.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
There's
space pirates.
space pirates. There's people who are less scrupulous, have less scruples than you guys
Spacey
do.
pirates?
I'm a
Nice.
spacey pirate.
But the military does control super heavy weaponry.
Right.
I believe. What did you? It was an anti-tank gun or something.
Yeah.
It was-
No,
Yeah.
it was a tank gun.
It was a
literally
tank
a
gun?
tank gun.
Okay. Yeah. So like a tank cannon or whatever.
Because anybody that's read Honor Harrington, we can get on to all sorts of tactical weaponry for space. Moving on.
That'll operate just fine in and out of atmosphere. But
Okay.
again, you're not supposed to be shooting each other. out
Right.
of
It's
the
just
sky.
point defense. Like,
Can we get a full bank of masers?
No.
Okay. Microwave lasers for those of you listening at home.
Banana
So-
fan of phasers.
Any other questions, concerns? I think I said it before we were recording officially. I believe in player agency. If you say, "Hey, I need," like the engineer Jason and I were talking, if he's on ship and he needs a tool, he's got the tool on hand. If you need 50 feet of rope, it's probably on hand. I'm even going so far as to say there's a power lifter, alien style,
Yes.
on deck for moving or on the ship to move crates around.
I got something to drive that.
I would just like everybody to know I am the Rock'em Sock'em Robots League champion.
Oh, very good. Right on.
So,
So one of the games that we have down in the hard cargo hold is power armor wrestling. Nice.
I imagine that's
Captain
probably
doesn't know.
not. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, the captain doesn't know that, but the first mate's running the ring. So
Right, so
I
you don't put a
mean-
hole in the side of the boat. I don't care.
okay, good. See, we're done.
But we can lose a few passengers, right?
Wait, no, I get paid per passenger. No, that comes directly out of your pay.
technically they're cargo. So it's,
Nice.
Okay with this. So should we go around and introduce ourselves and talk about kind of what we like, a little bit of a background? I know
sure,
we talked about
if
names.
you've got something, yeah.
Well, I gave you all mine.
Okay.
I just I don't like. Why did I hire Jan here?
why did you hire Jan?
Yeah.
Jan is also as a pilot. He was trained as a military pilot for kind of short range fighter craft, usually operating in an atmosphere outside the atmosphere, operating in space. And so he was a veteran of a couple of little brush wars that were kind of fought off on the fringes, and he wanted to get away from the systems where that happened.
I would say those would be more like rebellions where a colony or whatever
Yeah.
thought they could, break free and
Sure.
do their own thing. But
and maybe doing like anti-pirate action, things like that.
yes, exactly.
And so he, kind of wanted to get away from that lifestyle, but he still has a military bearing. He's very larger than you'd expect for a pilot. He's very bulky, very muscled. And if anyone can kind of figure out by the way he looks, and the fact that he's also almost always wearing a pressure suit, like like a space, it'd probably be a slim-fitting spacesuit, but
Skin suit.
a skin suit. So should there be depressurization, he's got his helmet ready to put on and
He just
to
flips
survive.
The helmet hangs off of
Yeah.
a hinge from the back. You just
Exactly.
flip it on, and you're
And
done.
a lot of people who grow up in space are kind of used to doing that. It's just how they live. They don't think anything necessary of it. So he grew up like in an asteroid belt, or no, near a gas giant actually. But he's very stocky. He's up against a lot of
What's
gravity.
the average size? What's in this game? What's average size?
10?
10 to 12-ish.
Yeah, he's larger than
I
that.
think,
Okay, all right.
I think technically
That's-
10 is where you fall.
He's got a little bit of scarring around his face. He probably got shot down once or twice. And he's mostly quiet, mostly professional. He likes to... There's one particular shuttlecraft that he takes out a lot that he kind of views as being his particular... Even though you own it, the captain owns it, he doesn't like anyone else using it, because as the senior pilot, that's kind of his purview that he goes on scouting missions and does things with, but then he flies the ship and... That's
His
about
own
it.
bird.
Yeah. It gets really twitchy if anyone else touches it.
And why did I hire Jason? Marcus, Mr. Smith.
I recently come from a mercenary crew where I quit after suffering third-degree burns along my left side because the captain wouldn't pay for maintenance. Hence my appearance 7.
Oh shit!
Are we all going to be burn victims?
I don't know.
Because I am.
I think I'm actually uglier than you, aren't
A little bit.
I? Yeah.
A bit.
Hope that you don't have that same experience anywhere else.
Pretty much a loner. I like to tinker with stuff. Extremely competent and knowledgeable about my job, but not a people person at all.
So did you get highly recommended by somebody, or did you just
More like extremely skilled, known for it, and just said, to hell with this guy, and came to work for Matt.
Okay.
What's the captain's name again?
Ethan Baker.
Yeah, that's right.
And why did I hire Heinrich?
By the way, I think of Heinrich in the Aldenata series every time I hear your name now.
And all the what?
Every time I hear your character's name.
Which series?
Aldenata. Heinrich.
Nice. Heinrich was also former military, spent a stint as a drill sergeant, only bounced from place to place to place until Planetside didn't become tenable. He is a shorter, somewhat bulky, but smallish, sort of a knotted muscle guy. He's a size 9. He has been in more than enough brawls. Part of his style of command, as it were, is if you really have a problem with him, he will not hesitate to step out into the hall, put rank aside, and paste the living out of you. That's the appearance 6. Size 9.
We are some ugly dudes.
Ugly. That's why we went to space.
Right. And it was
7.
and
Oh man,
I'm the pretty one.
what's your appearance?
12.
yeah, you are
you're
gorgeous
gorgeous.
in comparison.
That's why he's the captain.
We land on a ship and they're like, I don't know if we want to pay you. I'm like, have you seen my crew? Oh my god, please, baby.
No woman would have us, so we went into space.
And he is
No wonder
he
we
is
get
a
along
known
so well.
he is a known brawler, as in just stripped to the waist and all right, let's bare knuckle this out, and has smacked his way around several crews. But in his military career, he has built a streak up for loyalty and following the rules and regulations to a T. It's kind of the mix of, okay, he was a drill sergeant because the drill sergeant followed the rules. However, he has a real issue with, well, let's take this outside and I'll just beat you to a pulp if you don't follow the rules, which moved him off planet side and into the ships. And into the ships, the idea of, gee, if you bump too many rules and regs, if you skip too much maintenance, if you don't follow the people die, like holes in ships and no atmosphere. And that in the Navy side of it really caught on as, oh, you mean you always follow the rules? You always follow what the captain says? You're incredibly loyal to that end? And he progressively moved up the rank and gained experience in various spacing things until his tours were up. He tried to sign back up, and they went, no. You've put in your 20 years or 40 years or however much it was. Or, you put in your 20 years. So that's great that you want to join back up. No, go ahead. Go do your thing. And and was put out to pasture from the military, but given the spacing, he found a merchant who had bought his own ship and was looking for a crewman. And I've worked with you for a while and worked up to first.
So you were probably not a commissioned officer, right? You said drill sergeant, so I'm assuming you were just enlisted.
I worked my way up to gunny sergeant, which is the highest ranking NCO on a ship.
Maybe we served a little bit, and I like that style that
You're the master.
if you don't do your job, we all die, so go do your job. And I probably pulled you in for that. Because I need somebody to be a hard ass, because that's not necessarily who I am.
That's me.
That'll be $1.
That'll be $1.
It's actually $1 too, so it's almost like you're being better track.
Yeah, he's cussed twice now. All right, so that leaves us with the doctor.
Henderson. I just got out of college.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
I am inexperienced in the field. This is my first space flight.
and cheap.
I love it.
And cheap.
So,
I would probably say this is
I want you to know
first.
the medical
It
staff
is
on
my
this ship,
first.
Jesse, the medical staff on this ship wears red shirts.
Right.
Wouldn't surprise
Sucker.
I thought the engineering staff wore red shirts.
me. The engineering
Gold.
and security, yeah.
Gold, no.
Anyway, though, yes.
We're gonna start
Inexperience in the field. I graduated top marks. It's still hard to find a job.
So you were cheap.
So I was cheap.
That's why
That's why.
So you're an unpaid intern.
I'm paid, just not greatly paid.
Yeah, after we end up charging him for all the onboard necessities, he's not really paid.
It's one of those. It's technically a regulation to have a medical officer.
You just don't have to have a good one.
Yeah, I mean, space is pretty settled. Like, I mean, if you get into an area, I mean,
most things that are going to kill you in space are just going to kill you dead.
yeah. Not coming back from that.
Not a lot of patch him up after the.
He got sucked through that hole.
So that kind of thing.
Where's Bill? He got hit by a meteorite. See the medic.
Yeah.
That being
whole
said,
smell-
I am reasonably tall, but I am overweight also.
Joy.
And fugly. Don't forget fugly.
We're all chud people.
Hey,
Chud?
Yeah,
Don't-
chud.
That's awesome.
don't put me in with that group.
Yeah.
Hey, hanging out with us makes you look even better.
Right. That's one of the reasons to keep us
That's why you hired
around.
the crew.
I'm going to go with the junior pilots and the nurse are a little more.
Are there any women on the trip?
Yeah, they're the nurse and the junior pilot.
Read to the bottom of that box.
And I mean, there's probably 50 on ice in the back.
Yeah, that's creepy and weird.
Isn't
What-
it though?
Can we also? What age is everyone generally?
25.
I am 48.
Late 30s.
38.
Okay, I'll be
And you?
30, early 30s. And then, where was everyone born relative? Were you born in space? Where'd you grow up? Did you grow up in space or did you grow up terrestrial?
Terrestrial. 100%. First time in space.
I grew up on the moon in New Old Berlin.
Significant. Well, I would say for you, Jesse, first significant length of time in space.
Significant, yes. They do
I
things.
count that as terrestrial. What
I
about you
was
guys?
born on a ship, raised on a ship, worked on a ship.
Probably like you.
Born terrestrially, mid-Europe, Germany.
Yep. Okay.
Germany?
But spent the majority of your professional adult life out in space.
No, about half of it. A little less than half.
Travel,
Well,
anything within the solar system.
about 3/5 of it in space. I'd spent some time training the Marines going up, and then got, you need to go somewhere else. Well, I'll get on the ship and leave where I was because nobody likes me.
Because you're very ugly.
Because I'm very ugly, but I will beat you to a pulp with my bare hands.
You get teased a lot as a child, and that's when you learn to like
Could
punch
be.
people. And...
Yes.
So
I would use the nickname from the books, but I can't because then I'll be charged $1.
Yes. Thank you.
So you, that's who you guys are, and you find yourselves approaching.
I'm thinking Jack Harkness with just a little bit of gray at the temples.
So you like
For
boots?
you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know. He
Kind
might
of
have a
Oswald,
few more points
younger.
in appearance.
Yeah, I would say Jack Harkness is not
With
12.
a little less charisma. That's
So, okay, who's your ambiguous partner?
Nice. Because you're not.
probably the nurse.
No, I don't think you're catching on.
Yeah. Moving on.
The other junior pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Don't
Not you.
Don't fraternize with the pilots.
What? Let me,
The pilots.
There's
I'm
a
not-
reason we're all.
I don't have a relationship with either of the pilots, but I make sure that no one else does either. They're protected from your
I will say
horrible
it this
predation.
way. Any of the crew that isn't, I don't know, appearance 8 or lower.
Oh,
I'm
the
a
other
9,
junior
big
pilot's
boy.
Out, so.
I'm a 9, big boy. You said 8 or lower.
I thought you were appearance 6.
Oh, I'm size 9, appearance 6.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Short, ugly man.
Yep.
All right. So.
We also have a cook by the name of
Oh, right. I forgot
Cookie.
about the cook.
Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie.
Cookie.
Yeah, that's
John.
The cooks don't have names, do they? I mean,
Nope. And then you said
I
there
don't.
were...
I don't allow people to refer to the pilots as by name either. They're all numbers. So there's pilot 1 and pilot 2.
Okay, pilot 1 and
Number
pilot 2.
1.
Pilot 1.
No, we can
pilot
name
2.
them. That's probably
No, don't name them.
No, okay.
Junior
Pilot
1, Junior
Somebody
2.
go find number 2. He's in the bathroom.
I do view them as being like my people. Like that's.
We'll
these
call
are
them
my
1
guys,
and
right?
Deuce. I don't
Other
know.
than you're rarely on deck with them, either of them, for any length of time, because it's usually
Changing the
it's
watch.
probably usually
shifts,
yeah,
yeah.
captain and senior, first and second, or first and first junior officer, junior pilot, and then
the
second
ship
officer.
Pilots itself. I mean, we pointed at a thing and hit go, right? It's just
Basically.
we're out there in case.
Effectively,
Okay.
yes. I mean, it's one of those things where somebody needs to be there to
adjust.
Does it, like the ship will say, "Oh, we're tracking this on this trajectory. Do you want to change course?" And then you go, "Yeah, whatever." Yeah.
So or if your computer crashes and it goes manually, you certainly want to have someone there.
Oh yeah.
That's a definite. Yeah, I mean,
What's the nurse's name?
Yes. What is that?
Hottie.
Nursey.
Nurse McHotterston.
Young
What is the
Yeoman Rand.
Let's call her. Let's Nurse Rand. Let's do that.
Wait. Who said Nurse?
What's her appearance score? Say like 22. 3.
It is
Let's just be honest.
12.
Super pretty people don't go on boats.
Maybe.
It happens when they're born in space.
We're all mean and ugly.
Yeah, but their
Surly.
parents clearly were ugly.
I was once
We're
prettier,
going
but I
to
was in the
rename
war.
your ship.
My name is Hugo McHuggerton.
The Graceful Tiger.
That's a Gotham name.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're missing one.
No, that's 9.
Captain. Pilot.
Oh, myself. Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
I
I didn't count me.
This like
We
4
lost our first
times.
officer.
Wait, isn't there a second officer?
Yes, there is a second officer.
Yeah, so what's his name? Uh-huh.
That makes
My
sense.
count was right.
Oh, my bad. I guess
Ned
I did count
Nickerson.
4 times.
John Johnson.
You did count it 4 times. You just counted it wrong 4 times.
James Tolby.
Who has an appearance score of 10.
There you go.
Okay, so you're not an overly attractive crew.
James who?
Tolby.
He hires people like that on purpose.
That's what I'm seeing a pattern.
So when he gets to the colonies, he's like,
Hey,
I'm
baby.
looking pretty good now.
They're going to be like, oh, it's the new captain. Well, let's see what... Oh, God! Have you seen the new captain?
He makes us all wear robes.
He's hot. Yeah.
I walk around
Compared to the uggos he's got on board.
You walk around in
Yes.
what?
gas mask.
Gas mask? That makes me very worried about the oxygen scrubbers on the ship. Should we be concerned about this?
What's the rest on
What? No, seriously, what?
So,
And our ship explodes.
Okay, so we are... How far along are we on our 65-year trip?
Yeah,
Or 4 months?
You are approaching the final... You're on final approach, basically.
Oh,
What's
we're gonna
Jan's
land.
last name?
Yes, you're going to
Okay,
land. You're
good lord.
landing.
Your last name, your character's last name?
Lagash.
Oh, yeah, Lagash.
that's close.
Kapoor? Yeah.
No, that's different.
What's your name? Not Core.
So,
Jan.
who, I imagine, final approach to the planet, captain's on deck.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not in deep, deep space where
No.
horrible things can go... Good!
No, you're approaching the colony.
Good.
I'll be in the
Nice.
engineering bay in my hammock.
What shift are we on?
I eject the engineering bay.
First, second, third?
Well, I'm again player agency.
The captain would set
all
that.
for it, but I would think the captain would be on deck
It would be an officer's.
for
Yeah.
the landing. Like that
I
would
assume
be-
there's more room on the deck than just for me and a pilot, right?
Oh yeah, there's probably 2 pilot seats and a couple, and
I would probably have a station.
yeah, the computer station,
I would assume
command chair.
it's understood that when we hit planet side, unless you just went to bed, you're on deck.
I'm on deck,
Right.
certainly.
Well, we would know ahead of time when we're going to get there. So we
yeah,
can
yeah,
schedule.
yeah, you can schedule things out.
So probably junior pilot 1 and the nurse are probably sleeping because they probably just got off shift.
Yeah,
Not together because they're both uggos. Go ahead.
No, the nurse is hot. 12. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. 12.
Well, about far for this crew.
She's easily twice as attractive as I am. Easily.
Oh, actually,
So,
precisely.
senior pilot Lagash. Your readouts appear all normal.
I report that everything's in the pipe 5 by 5.
Is this what this is going to devolve into? Is pulling all those little catchphrases
Yes.
out of everything?
That's legit space flying terminology.
That is spacey flying talk.
Just to be clear,
right
are
there.
the Protoss around?
Nice.
Do we need to build another pylon? Oh my god.
Oh, you guys are thinking StarCraft? That's from Aliens.
Yeah, I know.
please.
I know.
Yeah.
Gotta go to the source.
I love how the aliens is legitimate
The
space
engineer
talk.
will open his landing beer.
I guess it's a
We're
space.
getting,
Okay,
we're
so
getting a message from Tulo Stenadar.
I will report that all systems are green, Captain. Not in those words, though. Not
And
on that tone.
just as you give that final report, the communications network that you expect to move into
Yeah.
is dead. It just goes silent. Like you passed the outer buoy and it was reporting fine, But the situation that you expect to move into is not there. There should be some sort of communication network or relay down to the surface.
Who typically handles ship communications?
Second officer would be
The
in charge of the computers.
But he's in bed. Or no, he's in. No, he's here.
He's probably on deck.
Do you mean the mechanics of it or the use of it?
I mean, the use of it.
Okay.
Yeah. In this scenario, I would think the second officer, because his role is technically to keep the computers and the engineering stuff in line.
Well, I don't know that they're down yet. So
Anyways, Chief Engineer, can we get a diagnostic on the communication system?
is there a problem?
I'm not hearing what I'm supposed to be hearing.
But you just said everything was fine.
Well, it was, and now it isn't.
Computer use or electronics repair?
Computer use.
Really?
Nice.
I have an 80 and I rolled an 81.
Nice.
So you're like, what does this button
It was
do?
a routine thing.
No. You have to be like, oh, the computer's fine.
You don't see a problem.
Yeah, the computer's
but
fine.
Computer's fine.
Yeah.
I'll remind you of your little plot element.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Computer's fine.
Alright, well, we're not getting the communication system that I'm expecting to. Just want to make sure it wasn't a problem on our end.
What would cause that? Because we were just getting it, right?
Right. There is. It's mostly a beacon. There would be a network
It's a buoy.
of satellites around the planet, and the buoy out in deeper space would be like receiving some sort of all clear signal and then broadcasting that out farther.
Relaying it.
So you are receiving the buoy's all clear signal that you expect to get from the planet.
But we're not here.
You move inside the buoy's range and it's gone. It's dead.
Can we diagnose the buoy from here?
Like a link to it or something?
Yeah, that's totally possible.
Hey,
you want the engineer to work on
Mr.
that?
Smith, let's see what's going on with the buoy.
Computer use again.
And Tolby, while they're doing that, can you tight beam direct communication to our destination?
I will work on that, sir.
Thank you.
I got it by 42.
Okay. You are able to set up a satellite link or whatever, a direct connection. You've probably only got about 20 minutes before it's out of immediate range.
So, electronics?
Yes.
Why am I holding 3 dice? Yes.
Okay, give me a computer use as well.
Yes.
The buoy is telling you all clear. You've got the logs. There was a glitch in the system 5 months ago. And it just says that communication was interrupted, and then it was restored by a technician. It was planetside where this happened. It was like half a day blackout of communication, but then it was restored, and it claims to have been receiving the signal ever since. But you have a feeling that it's not true, that someone's doctored the files messily.
Is there any way I can check to see if they have, make sure? Like if somebody came in afterwards and changed something?
It's going to take time for you to verify the code versus the standard operating procedures.
Okay.
So you have that information and you can review it later.
Okay.
But so that's what you've got to go to work with right now. So that somebody has told this buoy to constantly broadcast an all clear signal.
All right, somebody jiggered the buoy.
Should we be on defensive footing, Captain?
Yeah, I think so.
Does this happen often?
So, not my first secret, but my second secret. Does that apply to both this and that?
I'm sorry, that makes no sense.
It totally
Are you
does.
talking about the first thing or the second thing?
No, the second
We're
thing.
talking about the second thing. We're talking about the first thing.
Yes. So now Matt is going to text
Matt's going to
him.
secretly text Johnny.
Mr. Toby, run out the main gun, please. I don't want any surprises.
We have 2 main guns.
Roll out both main
Yeah,
guns.
let's get both of those out.
Let's talk out of character.
I will separate out to one ping only.
Are you doing an accent or no, Scott?
No.
Okay.
No accent. Why?
Because I thought you were doing one. And then it sounded close to the one I was doing, so then I switched.
No,
I'm gonna do it.
no, I'm not doing one at all.
Good. Just making that clear, because I don't have two similar ones.
Okay. What accent did you think I was
I thought you
doing?
were doing, like, there's just a
Slight
tinge of sentence
southern.
you said. Yes.
No.
I heard it.
I
No,
heard
not
it a little bit.
You didn't
but-
hear
I will
shit.
engage like an active radar system. I
Okay.
assume we have one.
Sure.
We have Dratus.
I said, I'm skirting the edge. I ain't paying $1. Moving on.
That's $5.
What, to mumble mumble?
Yeah, mumble mumble.
That was a 2-syllable second mumble.
Anyway,
That's what it is.
does that make sense?
Yes.
Do
You
we have
just answer me.
Do we have a tiger painted on the outside of the ship?
God, I hope
Absolutely.
so. Is it graceful?
Does it look like this?
No, does not at all.
Does it look like this?
Yeah, it looks exactly like that.
Thank you.
So,
It's a soft, graceful roar.
To answer your question, not all,
but
a significant portion.
of both.
Yes. Well, on the ship, yes. On the colony, a significant portion.
Do we notice the captain deep in thought? Thinking
Probably.
about his
Good going.
secrets?
Pensively tapping
As-
his chin.
Yes, as the first officer orders the guns rolled out, the captain does get pensive for a few moments, I imagine.
Yeah.
Tapping his
I
chiseled
assume we
chin.
have some sort of like small arms.
You guys have...
I just want to make sure that we mute all of our phones.
Threat
so that,
detected.
That was Frank Underwood's phone.
Yeah.
Sorry, moving on.
Wow, did you
Frank would
actually
be
do that
awesome to
many
play
times?
this game with.
Wouldn't he though?
I actually carry my small arms with me at all times.
We should see if we can
get.
get Kevin Spacey to play in this game.
I don't do small arms.
Captain?
So I assume the first officer or the senior pilot is you're already piloting, right?
I'm at the helm, yes.
Everybody else that is an essential right at this moment, go ahead and get any personal weapons you have and arm yourselves, please, just in case.
Are you expecting trouble, Captain?
You never know. It's known that colonists are non-violent, right?
Colonists or volunteers. People looking to start a new life somewhere
Including those that would be non-violent from certain areas.
else. Yes.
Okay. The colonists, as you all know, I'm sure, are volunteers sometimes taken from prison populations that are non-violent. In case something's happened on the ground, I'd rather have us all armed than not armed.
Mr. Smith, can you also check our cargo and make sure they're all asleep? Do you want us all in skin suits,
Actually,
Captain?
why don't you take command here? I'll go with Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, I would like to take a visual inspection.
All right, well, I'm just gonna press the button on the computer that updates that status and shows me whatever.
Yes, all cryopods reading green.
Okay. Do you want to get guns first?
I pull mine out. I'm good to go.
Do you want us all
Mine's
in
in my
skin
steam
suits
trunk.
in case of pressure loss as well?
No, I think we should be fine.
In case they hit us with something before we get planet sign?
No, I think we're all right for right now.
Side note: you've never seen my weapon before. You just know I carry it behind me on wheels in a trunk.
You carry rolling luggage with you wherever you go?
Yep, and it's a gun.
Excellent.
So,
Captain, I would like to go with you to inspect the pods.
yeah,
just to
that
make
might
sure
that might be a good idea, Doctor. So I'm going to take the Doctor and Mr. Smith, who is not getting his rolling trunk done.
Cookie pops up and says, "Can I help, Captain?"
Yeah, I could take a spot of breakfast.
Oh, well, I was thinking there's a lot of pods back there. I mean, four sets of eyes.
Sure.
Out of character. Anyone not think it's the cook?
I'm going to send a message out to non-deck officer people that are present. Skin suit up. And make sure you're armed in the halls.
So just say no skin suits. So you want skin suits? Okay. So how do we hear that? I hear that announcement, right?
No, it'll be sent to it'll be with pads or stations or whatever it is that you said, no, don't worry about it. And I went, it's my job to worry about it.
You
Suit
text
up,
them
boys
all.
and girls. Yeah, I texted them
You
all.
also know I always I make the pilots worried about all times.
Right, and I was thinking the
duty.
pilots are fine. The pilots are fine. He's fine. I'm fine. The doctor and the nurse and the cook and the rest of them suit up.
So I will take the cook too, I guess. This isn't going to go bad. God, no. You know what? No.
If someone volunteers to be cannon fodder, you let them do it.
But,
Or to screw up your plans.
yeah, take the cook.
I'm just
There's no
saying.
reason not to take the cook. It
Let
just
me-
seems exceptionally suspicious.
Let me
Yeah, I'm
ask.
saying we've all seen Hunt for Red October. The cook is the bag.
Okay,
Right.
so
So
John,
I have a pertinent question before you take the cook.
sure.
How much do you value your eggs Benedict?
I cook
Take
my,
the cook?
I can cook my own eggs Benedict.
Okay, well then go ahead and
Let me
take
ask you this question, John.
Okay.
Is this like a big glaring sign that you missed when I said, "Are you sure you want to go alone"?
He's the cook.
No, because you're going to go down to the pods and the cook is going to wander off to some pod by himself. Watch. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your plot. Go ahead.
So we're gonna go down to the freaking pods.
All right.
I got this.
Okay.
So all 4 of you, visual inspection.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we get down there, I'm going to hand out masks to everybody.
What kind of masks?
Just like chem masks.
Okay.
Because I imagine we're going to be around
Are
chemicals.
you my mummy?
No, I'm going to make sure the cook only has a few minutes of air.
Oh, okay, good.
So he has to come back and find me.
Okay.
Keep him on a short leash.
Well,
He's
I've
like,
got to just. I think I've got a different view of chem mask versus a mask with air.
Well, I'm like high technology times. I'm
There's
assuming
like a
like
scuba thing. Like
yeah, basically
oxygen.
like
Right.
Internal filtration system, whatever.
The thing they made Luke wear in the back of the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to keep him on a short leash.
Yeah,
all right.
So if he does wander off, he's going to come back being like,
I do a barrel roll.
It's not a mute button.
Do a
It's an
barrel roll.
asphyxiation
I
button.
sent you a text as a test to make sure it is just to you.
Yep, that's me.
Okay.
I sent you a text not as a test, and I know it's just
Well,
for you.
yeah.
I got
I'm
I
also
got
gonna
Jestin's
grab-
text. That
Did you really?
Did you get his?
Test.
Yeah, his test.
Oh, I got that.
Okay,
I
good.
assume
I'm gonna
I
grab
wanted to make sure you did.
tool belt, all that.
Apparently,
fun
it's
stuff.
not just me. He says.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
but I don't
it's
trust.
just-
I don't trust the word he says.
There you go.
So
Could go either way.
All right.
So the thing I just texted you about,
Yeah.
I know the 10 numbers. Does that sound right? I would know the 10 numbers like off the top of my head,
No.
but it's in my paperwork.
Yeah,
Yes.
no kidding.
Do you feel like this is something you would have studied and memorized?
I would at least know a general idea of either where they're at or in an emergency. It would be nice to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Then.
Okay. I just want to make sure that the
Then
10
sure. Yeah.
Okay. So then I will check on those 10 first.
You're gonna have to describe that when you get down there.
Okay.
So.
Right, I'm going to warn you before we get in here that we've had a lot of breakdowns recently, so don't go like.
Well, I'm sorry. We've
Grab
had a
me.
lot of what?
What? We've had what?
Have you looked at this ship?
Whoa. I pay you to fix this piece of crap.
You notice it's running.
It's true.
We'll talk about it when we get in port. Just don't go like unplugging things right
Oh,
now.
I'm not unplugging anything. When I was
So,
playing his mask.
all right. So we get in there. Let's say they're stacked 5 high.
Sure.
Each group of 5 has its own power bank.
Okay.
You have a
Are things like Matrix?
Yeah,
kind of, yeah,
Okay.
or Prometheus. Again, just a tube with a couple windows in it
Okay.
and a computer readout.
Okay.
I'll walk up to the one with the flickering light playing and give it a kick.
These are each of the 5 pods. Each of the 5 groupings of 5 has its own power system and everything. It is cut off from the computer,
Now,
intentionally not.
How many
linked in.
total pods do we have on board?
100.
100.
Oh,
Okay, so it's not like 101, and that one is where the mechanic
No.
keeps his beer in the cooler.
You don't know about that.
Oh.
You don't know about my pod.
Oh, okay,
You
sorry.
shut your mouth.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, he's in charge of the cargo, so he
Okay.
would.
If you get into my
Probably.
landing beer, we're gonna have a problem.
No, I'm not touching it.
Do you have an intership distillery going?
There may or may not be an unregistered cool locker in the back somewhere.
Boom.
You don't need to know about that. Just my business.
Love the Liverpool.
Everybody who's going down there. So they're stacked 5 high,
5 pods of pods.
5 pods on top of each other, and then lined up in rows so that you can walk down. There's going to be gaps so you can look between them.
I'm getting a very Resident Evil.
How do
vibe.
you approach? Like it'll be obscure. Like if you're in separate rows, it'll be slightly obscured. But does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
How are you going to approach? Like an orangutan.
I am going to go straight to the second row
okay.
and start walking towards the last pod, casually just glancing around at each of them as they go around.
So the doctor takes off on his own.
Nice.
Captain, cook, the cook's, following at a respectful distance, not creepy. Waiting for an order.
He's doing this.
Walk this way,
I don't know what the engineer is doing exactly, but he was.
I'm just basically going to go around to all the pods and initiate a diagnostic.
Would you be like waiting there for the captain to arrive, or would you step in and do it?
Is there a way to quick look at them and
This
see
is my world.
that they're active and working?
Yes, there is there's a blue glow comes. There's like a strip where the seal is. There's a blue glow all the way around each one. If there were a problem, that would be a break in the seal, and then there is a small
Like readout?
yeah, like smartphone sized interface,
Yeah.
and there's a green good thing, and then other stuff to look at.
So
Like I'm gonna go around to like the main panel for each set of 5 or whatever.
Yeah,
And like hit the button combo for a diagnostic just to make
Sure.
sure everything's running right.
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna be like taking 5 minutes each one. I'm just gonna go like click,
So
like-
yeah, so
and then I'll do another circuit after that.
there's a secondary circle appears. The green circle's on the bottom right. The secondary circle in orange appears on the left, and it blinks, and it is in diagnostic mode. If there's any problem comes up, it'll solid red. If not, it'll just go away in a few minutes.
I will casually head behind the engineer, kind of just watching what he's doing, but head in the direction of the 10 I'm looking for.
Okay.
Unless they're scattered out, then I just want to make sure that they're still. I'm specifically looking to make sure that they're okay. How quickly can we wake people from cryo?
It takes 24 hours.
How quickly? So once we land, they should be awake anyway, right?
Well, you're not. You're now a couple hours out.
So have we already started waking people up?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, so what's the normal protocol for waking them up?
Usually moving them to the medical facility. There's again, depending on your schedule, how fast you want to book it out of there. There's probably a holding area and a medical facility, and they would take them a few people at a time into the medical facility
On planet. Okay.
and have them wake up and then move out so that there's not 100 people milling about.
Hey Doc, how quickly can we revive one of these guys? I know it's a 24-hour process, but can you do it quicker?
What would I have to roll to see if I can do it quicker? Or would I just know?
Oh,
that-
you give me a knowledge roll, which is equal to your medicine IC.
Okay.
So either way.
Just put the IV
Oh,
bag
I-
under your armpit.
Yeah, how fast?
You could probably speed
3
the
hours,
process
24
up
minutes, 17
if-
seconds.
It's going to depend on what the captain wants them to be capable of.
Yeah, I can get them out pretty quickly, but they might not be fully functional.
For how long?
Permanent.
You might need to zap him a couple times. I can do that.
It's disorienting to come out of cryostasis early and quickly.
But he won't permanently cripple them, is my
No.
question.
Okay,
No.
good.
Oh, no.
Not if he does
Nothing
it
wrong.
right.
How much?
This is not in character.
You open it up and
That
start
was just a
slapping them.
knowledge check.
Yeah,
Like,
He
I'm
knows
very
it's
social.
possible.
How quickly can you get them awake and mostly functioning normal?
18 hours.
About 18 hours.
18 hours. And we're like 6 hours maybe away, or 3-4 hours away from the
Yes.
planet.
I mean, you can be in orbit. You don't have to land right now. You could just park it in orbit if you wanted to. What are
How
you
many
doing?
people can you wake in your medical bay at once?
There's no way to get a group to the medical bay. What you would probably do is bring a kit, a table, set up shop, basically down here.
So how many could he do at a time?
So my next...
5.
Well, but let me ask you this. So do we normally land, pop that pod off, and let them revive them on planet? I mean, is that the normal, like, when you're... We've got hundreds of people.
It would
Here we
depend
go.
on the facility that you're moving into.
Okay.
What you would expect to find here, again, depending on how fast the captain wants to leave, there's going to be a warehouse where you're going to store all the equipment, and they would probably be moved off into an area in there.
Okay.
And then the medical people on the planet would take over.
And all the equipment is in the same the same storage area, right?
Well, what do you think?
I would assume it would be like a big area with walls between, but it's still considered the same.
It's the cargo area.
Yeah, it's the cargo area.
Well, would
you
you want maybe canisters that you could, if they're like, just drop that canister here, pick up this canister, and go on to your next stop? Or do you want a solid piece of the ship?
I want a solid piece of the ship.
Okay.
So I'm seeing it in like a giant square, and then it's divided into 4, and so the pods probably take up 2 of those, and then the equipment is in the other one, as well as
2,
or the other. Well, probably 1.5, as well as like some of our own personal equipment,
of course,
stuff we would need for the ship and that kind of stuff in the other half of that one.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to the 3 of you keep checking on these. I'm going to go check on the cargo, just make sure everything's set.
So now that the captain isn't asking you any more questions, Dr. Henderson, do you go find that particular pod?
I do.
Yeah.
Is there anybody? I'm going to make a quick look around. Is there anybody around?
I'm just walking around.
I'm going to wait until he's walked away.
And you're claiming the pod you want to look at is in the back?
Yeah, second row towards the end.
You see the cook glance at you and kind of pause and, like, as he's walking by, kind of give you that, like, what is he doing? And move on. But other than that, you can see them moving around through the pods, but not no one's looking directly at you.
I will stroke the faceplate and whisper silently, "Soon."
Okay. Everybody who's still in the area, give me a spot hidden. I guess that'd be the doctor and
The
engineer. Well, I'm the cook.
Is he
Do
making
I
it as well?
make a
Yes,
spot?
you make a spot hidden. No.
Nope.
I got sneak.
I-
Don't have
okay.
spotted.
All right.
That's what
I'll
the
do
cook
it, so
kills
do I.
everyone.
No. So you guys make your rounds and everything checks out.
I got the feeling there's going to be a whole lot of texting going.
This
Yeah,
is the
there
secret
is.
of secret of all secrets
There
that
is?
is ever secreted.
Oh, you were answering
Oh
yes.
no, yeah. No.
No?
Not
Should it be
pinpoint,
Southern or
but
Russian?
section of the ship.
Jan?
Okay.
Command.
Because I wanted to know,
crew.
he stopped here, he stopped there. He,
Yeah,
like, you
no.
know, if one person wanders over and
Row
just...
2.
Okay, yeah.
Row 2, column 4. No.
Okay, all right.
You would know
Right.
cargo bay,
Right. Okay.
commons, such and so forth.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to check on a couple of boxes of cargo specifically. I haven't looked in them yet, but I know where they're at.
yes.
I want to know exactly what's in them. Are we talking heavy stuff or just light side stuff?
both.
Both.
You're going to have to give me a computer use to see if you can.
I can totally do that.
Yeah, crooked ass cat.
19 under my... I have computer use of 70. Yes.
You run into a Interstellar Authority block
Okay.
that you don't have the command code for. Do you want to hack it, or do you want to...
What do I need for hacking? More computer use?
More computer use.
Yeah, I'll hack it.
Alright.
Suppose kills the captain. Heart. 79 over 70.
No, it locks you out completely.
If only you knew somebody who's good with computers.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. Alright, I'm going to... Is it locking me out or is it locking everyone out?
It's locked everyone who can't provide the proper security code.
Okay.
Oops.
I'm
Ignore that thing I just sent you.
gonna
I was
head.
trying to delete it.
I'm gonna head back to the pods and look for the doctor.
Okay. You find the doctor in the back, or the very back of row 2.
Hey,
And he's looking into a pod. When he sees you coming.
what can I do for you, Captain?
I'm gonna need pod 20 through 25 or 21 through 25. I assume that's the
Sure.
half of them.
Those,
I'm
well,
gonna have to have you go
20
ahead.
through 25. Yeah.
That's 6 pods.
20 through 24 or 21 through 25?
I'm gonna have you thaw those 5 out.
That's okay.
The 0 counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Once they're awake, let them know that I'll need to speak. When they're awake, as they're starting to gain consciousness, I need you to call me immediately. Do not speak to them. Okay?
Okay.
Hey Doc, what's going on?
So I've got these 5 guys who are actually commandos. I'm going to need you to wake them up and not ask any questions. Cool? All right, see you later. And if you speak to them,
You're the captain.
So are you asking to fast track those?
Yeah. Go ahead and fast track all those 5.
Okay.
As fast tracky as you can fast track.
How many brains is the new guy going to burn out on accident?
And then I'm going to Mr. Smith. Everything looking good?
I don't know yet.
Okay. When you finish up, let me know. Everything looks fine from my end. Obviously, you are going to find any problems.
You get the last.
I'm purposely sandbagging him.
Are you only looking at the computers?
No, I'm like making sure there aren't wires hanging out anywhere or anything like that.
Okay. So are you giving it a thorough inspection, or are you like open a panel and
I'm giving a thorough inspection. I am doing the Scotty Star Trek method, where this is going to take a while, but if I do it in half that time, I look like a miracle worker.
All right. So while the captain is present, you're just kind of going doot, yep, doot, yep.
Yeah,
but then
this is
once
involved.
he
It's gonna
leaves,
take a
you're
while.
going to open up
like,
every panel and make sure the wires aren't frayed and chewed through by the rats.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna
So you get the final all clear from the computer readouts.
Okay.
All the diagnostics have been completed, and everything seems to be fine.
All right. Then I will actually start the mechanical check.
Okay.
I will head back up to the bridge at that point.
All right.
I am going to fast track 21 through 24 and number 36.
What is the combs?
You can't. You can only do 5 at a time.
Yeah, I only did 4.
21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, you suck.
Do we get
Oh wow, I don't want that.
That's number 25.
That's
What?
awesome, isn't it?
on the bridge?
Radar,
do we get any readouts?
Cargo doors and cryopods. Radar.
Okay.
Combs equals radar. I don't know how that works.
Do we get anything on the bridge that there's thawing starting?
No,
Of the
the
cargo?
readouts on the readouts on the bridge are fine.
No,
You
I'm saying
see-
we don't get any notifications that
Well,
any of the pods are getting.
if it
opened.
were, it'd be on my board.
Right this second in my mind,
You'd be looking at it. while
the
you're
captain
there.
is walking back to the bridge. He's literally given the order. The doctor
Okay.
needs
Sure.
20
But I'm saying
minutes.
theoretically, would we? Like in
Yes.
20 minutes, would we get that?
You would get a report that the pods were taken
Okay.
off, or something was happening with them. Yes.
Sure.
They're
Okay.
being cracked.
Yeah.
Decanted.
Yeah.
That's
I
the right word.
assume to open them up is just like typing into a. Or is it something I physically have to go to each individual pod that I want to open?
You have to type. You have to tell the computer on the pod to ramp up the process. Again, if these people all wake up at the same time, they're disoriented. Their vision's blurry. They have headaches, soreness all over. It's not a pleasant process. It's not unlivable, but it's not pleasant. They're not going to go into a blind rage and want to kill the first person they see.
So it's kind of like having a hangover.
Yes, it's like having a hangover.
Think Pitch Black, where he falls to the ground, vomits,
Yeah.
shakes his head, he's disoriented.
Yeah. Normally it's a smooth process. It's like waking up from sleep and you just go about your day.
I'm trying to
you
think
were
about-
asking them to go through a hangover or vomiting.
I'm trying to think of excuses as why I opened up number 32 instead of number 24.
How long does it take until the captain gives that order and starts back to the ship? How long have they been gone?
10 minutes.
Okay, at 15, I'm going to call the captain on the ship intercom.
Okay, he's in the commons area by then.
Yeah.
Captain, everything all right?
Yeah, I'm heading back up. I have an office, I assume.
Well, your quarters are probably slightly better
Yeah.
apportioned.
Can you leave number 2? What's his name?
Colby.
Toby. Leave him in charge up there and come meet me in my office if you would.
Colby, you have the comm. And I go to his office.
All right.
What's that junior officer's name? I don't remember.
Yeah,
Are you-
what's his name?
Are you changing orders for the pilot, or is he still on approach?
We've got hours, right? I mean,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
yeah. For right now, I'm going to leave it.
Okay.
I want to talk this over with him first and
All right.
see.
Sorry, George. I guess you got
Lagash,
So, Captain
Keep it straight.
Captain and
Aye,
Heinrich. Baker and Heinrich in the office.
Captain?
So this situation has me a little concerned.
Yeah.
There were some special orders that I was to not divulge. So what I'm about to say is to stay between you and I.
Absolutely.
There are 5 members of the citizenship in the back that are trained military and are here to ensure any problems don't happen.
Problems up here or dirt side?
Dirt side.
Okay.
But they were supposed to be used after we landed.
Okay.
Essentially, at home, they're getting a little more concerned. This is so... Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm aware of exactly what I said.
Okay.
At home, they're getting a little concerned that with the colony out this far, it's going to take longer for us to get here, so on and so forth. It's more likely that a riot or something could happen here, and without some sort of structure in place, it's more likely that something could go bad quicker.
So it's a small garrison.
Yeah, it's not even a garrison so much as almost like an undercover team to watch.
Fair enough.
The garrison is in...
All of these things I've just said are complete lies. I get that. Like, I'm making this up on the go.
I was reading my notes to verify something. Were you talking what's already planet side or what's...
No, what's in our cargo pods.
Okay.
So I've given the doctor orders to wake those 5 as quickly as possible. That way, if there is something going on the floor, on the ground, we have 5 more people that are trained, as well as some weapons in the hold. So
Okay, 2 questions. What kind of training?
Hand-to-hand? Elite forces, a little bit of everything.
Small arms, large arms?
Yeah.
What kind of weapons? Nothing that's going to go off if it falls off a shelf, right?
It hasn't gone off yet. No, they're not even on shelves. No,
Wow.
it should be some heavy weaponry, but no explosives, I don't think.
Okay. Good to know.
That's what I'm telling him.
Roll me an idea. Heinrich. Roll me an idea.
Thanks. Yep.
All right, so you've got a military background. You've probably seen these packages go out from various times. They will have explosives. They're generally considered last-ditch efforts to
Claymore kind of thing. Yeah.
Destroy the infrastructure, defend.
Small amount of demolitions.
Yeah, so you've got the gamut. There's no tanks in your cargo hold,
which is what I was asking.
Yeah, there is, but there might be the higher end of handheld weaponry.
Yeah.
So,
Captain.
Yes.
This is just between you and me, and we're here by ourselves. 5-man team to me says that's covert or hit squad.
The idea is that it'd be covert, so that if something starts
understand.
going wrong, they can either quash it or report it.
well,
And if it's not heavy weaponry,
Yeah.
as in mobile, there will be some explosives in there.
I'm only telling you what I was told. I can't see inside the crates. I already tried.
Oh, well, do you mind if I?
It kind of locked me out. So I'm not sure without
mind
the
if I?
codes. I don't see why not.
Okay.
again, Scott, I don't know. Not that your ideas are wrong or anything, entirely within the realm of possibilities, but this is a newly established colony. The troops planet side would probably be used more as a police force.
Okay.
So while you're not necessarily wrong, I'm not saying you're wrong, but an extra few guys to back up the cops that are already there is not crazy.
Yes, but a 5-man team just seems suspicious to me. That he's waking up early, my alarm bells are going off.
Great. Just so long as we're on the same page. So, as we deal with that tension floating around the ship, we're going to wrap it up for this episode.
So you can, as always, find us on Facebook and on Twitter. Find us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also find us by going to our website and reading all of our wonderful reviews about all kinds of wonderful things. If you want to spend some time hanging out with us, you can come down to Game Paradise in Fountain Square in Indianapolis. And on any Thursday, both myself and Shirley, who was unable to make it this evening, will be down there teaching some games. And we look forward to hearing from you and talking to you. Talk to you real soon.